Hello everyone, welcome to Geeks for Geeks. So let's talk about 171 weekly coding contest. So here the first question is perfect meeting. So first let's read the question. Our question is you are given the 2D array, right, of size n cross n, right? So where each element represents the start and end meeting and time of the meeting, right? So your task is to determine if there exists a time during which all the meetings are occurring simultaneously or not, right? If it's occurring simultaneously, return true, else false, right? Okay, now see in the first example, we have 1, 3, 2, 5 and 3, 11. It means we have three meetings, start time, end time, start time, end time, like that, right? So if you see in this case, the first case, I just want to know like all are occurring simultaneously or not. If you see in the case of number line, so 1 and 3 will be this, right? And 2 and 5. So here we have something like that 2, here we have 5. If you see in this case, yes, it's also occurring in between, means it's overlapping, right? You just have to think like that, it's overlapping or not, right? Let's see for the third case. So third case is third and 11. Here we have 11. So this is the third part, right? And tell me, this is overlapping or not? Yes, it is overlapping. 3 and 11 is overlapping in between all the previous meeting or not? Yes. 3 is overlapping with 1, 3. Yes, it is. 3 is overlapping with 2 and 5 or not? Yes, it is. So in that case, we just return true in this case, right? Let's see this example. We are making a number line like this, right? So in this case, this is the first part, right? And 3 to 9, yes, both is overlapping. Till now it's correct. Now if you see 11 and 12, 11 here, 12 here, is this overlap with my previous things? No, it's not. This particular meeting is not overlap with the previous meetings. So in this case, return false. That's what you have to do is, right? So simple idea is find the maximum element, find the maximum start time in all the meetings, find the minimum end times in all the meetings, right? If your end time is greater than or equal to start, it means it's true, that particular are overlapping, right? If it's not, return false, right? So let's see the code. Okay, so if you see, what we have to do is we just take the start variable and end variable, where start is the starting time, where we have to make the maximum value of the start of the meeting, right? That's why I take -1. And end is the ending time, we take the maximum because I want the minimum of the ending time, right? So I just update like that and run the for loop, and in that case I just update my start time and end time accordingly, right? What we see in this case, right? Okay, after that we just have to ask if my end is greater than or equal to start or not. If it is, just return true, else just return false, right? That's what we have to do. We just have to check all the things are overlapping, all the meetings are overlapping or not, right? So if you see in the case of this, in the first case, what's my start? Start will be this. What's the maximum? 3. What's the ending part? Ending part is 3, 5, 11. So what is the minimum? 3. I am asking 3 is greater than this now. It means there is overlapping in all the things, right? In this case. Now let's see for this case. Start will be maximum of all, which is 11, right? So what is the end? End will be 9. It means start. There is one meeting which is start at 11, but there is one meeting which is ending at 9. So here clearly see that particularly is not overlapping. Just return false in that case. That's what we have to do in this code part, right? Okay, let's see submit it's working fine or not. So meanwhile, let's discuss the complexity of this. We just run the loop, and after that we just compare a bit, and we know that what's the complexity of this? Simple. It's order of n, right? So hope you understand this intuition. Okay, now let's talk about next question. So next question is maximum difference. So let's first read the question. Our question is you are given the two arrays, array 1 of size n and array 2 of size m, right? So you have to pick an integer from array 2 and rearrange it in any order, right? Then make an array out of those chosen element which is called as BRR, right? So such that the difference, absolute difference between that particular BRR of I and ARR of I, that will be maximum, right? Okay, so note point is given to us, so you don't have to find the array BRR, you just have to print the maximum value, whatever the difference between that particular two arrays, right? Absolute difference, right? So that's what we have to do. Okay, so if you see in this case, my value of n is 3 and m is 5, right? And array 1 will be given to us of size n, right? And array 2 is given us of m size, right? So we just have to take the difference. Okay, so like that. Okay, so the one condition is given in this problem is, if you see the constraint part, my value of m, okay, and not in constraint, here we are given your n will always, sorry, m is always greater than or equal to n, right? So this is a statement which is given to us in the very first line, right? Okay, now let's see how we can solve this problem, right? So we have two arrays. The first array will be of size n and second will be m, right? Okay, so we just have to extract how many elements? 3 elements from array second, right? For example, this is array 1 and this is array 2, right? A1, A2. Okay, we just have to make the BRR, right? Okay, we just have to choose 3 elements, whatever the size of array 1 you have, from array 2, right? So you just have to choose something like that. We have the maximum difference between that particular array as well, right? Okay, now we want the maximum difference. How you can calculate the maximum difference? If you see, we have two array, we have single array. How we can the maximum difference? We take the minimum value, we take the maximum value, and we can do the subtraction like that, right? So here the intuition came to my mind is, if I sort the both the array, after that we can do something, right? Okay, so the first step, very first step is sort both array, right? Sort the array part, right? So if I sort the array part, it will look like 2, 3, 6, right? If I sort this array, it will look like 2, 3, 7, 9 and 11, right? So these are the two arrays we are given to us. Okay, now after that we have to think like that, which element we have to take from array 2 so that I get the maximum difference with my initial array, which is a1, right? Okay, now we have three cases here. Let's see, understand all the cases, right? Okay, now let's first, the first case is, if I have the array like this, for example, this is my first array, which is n, right? And we have the array 2, right? I considered here both the array are sorted. So we have the first one, second, third, fourth, right? Now in this case, the first case is you have to take the difference with the last element of the array 2, right? This one, this one, this one, this one, right? We have to take like that, right? So if you see in this case, the array 1 will be this, array 2 will be this, right? Okay, so assume this example, if we have 2, 4, 5, 6, so you have to choose the 4 elements, right, from array 2. Which elements you can take after sorting both the array? You take this now. In this case, if you see, the maximum difference will be there, right? So 2 and 500, the difference will be maximum, right? So your first value will be pointing to here and here. You just have to map like that, right? Okay, this value, this value. After that, this value, this value. It means the first, very first thing will be go like this, because I want n elements, right? So here the array I will be pointing like that, array 1. Just assume this. Okay, let's assume a1, right? Because we already marked a1. So a1 of I, like that. Now I want to map with a2, right? Which element we have to take? Here we just take the absolute difference like this with a2 of m minus 1 is the last element, right? And minus I, because right now my I is 0, right? So there is no difference in between, right? We just have to take like that, right? So on we make my answer here, right? So answer, just suppose case 1, so answer 1, right? So here I just do like that, right? So this is the case 1, when we take an element from the last part of my array 2, right? Okay, now in this case we make my answer 1. After that we compare it, right? Case 1 said answer 1, right? Now let's move to the case 2 part. Now in this case we have to take n elements, right? So in this case we take all the elements from the front part, right? So there is a possibility like these are the 4 elements which give me the maximum difference. So see this example. If we have this example, if I take the difference between the first these elements, right? So in this case my I will be 0, right? We have to take map like this, after that this, after that this, after that this, right? So these are the mapping which you have to do it, right? So this is a perfect example which give me, like, you have to take the n elements from the start of your B array, right? So this will give me the answer 2, right? Okay, now we take from the first, we take from the last. Now there is a possibility we just have to split my array like that. We have to take 2 elements from the start and 2 elements from the end. 1 element from the start, 3 elements from the end. 3 elements from the start, 1 element from the end. Just like that. This is the third possibility, right? Okay. So if you see in this case, third case, so here I am written we take I element from the front part of B, right? Here I make the same color, you assume like that, right? I elements, first I elements, which is 2 right now. We take the first two element like that. Now, last n minus I, right? Whatever we left with minus I, that particular element we have to take from the last of my B part, right? Here, if you see the color part, right? Okay, there is a possibility like we have to take for one array first element from the start and first element from the last. Three element from here, three element from here, right? Like that we have to do it. Okay. So this is the possibility of this. So after that, you can assume we are taking three elements from the first, right? And map with the last three elements of the B part. Similar, we just have to go like that. So this is the third possibility, right? Okay. Now let's see how we can do that. Okay. So in this case, I just give the idea behind it. So my request is please do the dry run by round. So it take lot of time. So just understand the concept, how we can do that, right? So what I'm doing is, okay, so in this case, I just split that particular part. First I element from the this part, I just map with this part, right? And last element of n minus I map with the starting part of B, right? Like this, right? So there will be I 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. It will be running like that. Okay, okay. So in this case, the first I elements. So I assume first I element when they map with my last element of B, right? So sum, we have something like sum in my first array, right? For example, here we have sum, right? Either you take like this 10, 20, 30, and for example, here we have 60, 70, 80, right? So we just have to map like that 10 minus 80, 20 minus 70, 30 minus 60, right? You can do like that. But the agenda is let's do the sum of all. Let's do the sum of all and take the difference. Both are same now. There's no difference between that part, right? So just think like that, right? Okay. So I hope you understand my intention, right? Just do the sum of all I elements and sum of all I element of this. Just do the subtraction. That will give the absolute difference. Now, that's the simple intention. See, if I want to sum of all I elements, what thing which is came to my mind? Prefix sum, right? If I want here all the elements ka sum till this, what we have to do? Suffix sum. From the back to the front, I want suffix. From start to the some point, right? That will be the prefix. So we just have to make prefix of here I mentioned. We just have to make PR. PR means prefix of A. What is A? A is the first array which we have n elements. Prefix of B, which is PR2. Here I am mentioned like that, right? In the code as well, we are mentioned like that. In the PR1, what is the PR1? You see here PR1 like that. That is a suffix of B because we want suffix now here, right? Okay, now see in this case. So I take the first I elements and I map with the last element of your B part, right? Now see what we have to do. We are making here, so prefix PR, PR1, PR2 like that. Just make a note of it, right? Okay. Now see, I just have to make the difference. I just take the sum of all the ith element. I assume I just break my like that I element here n minus 1 here, right? So I want the sum of all. Who help me to give the sum of all the elements of A? Prefix of A, right? So here PR will give me the value of it. PR said, okay, just ask PR of I. That particular element will give me the sum of all from start to the that particular I element, right? So that's why we are taking the PR of it, right? Okay. Now, after that, we just have to map with my last element of B, right? In this case, we have something like that. 10, for example, let's take this as the example. We have something like that. I want the sum of all the elements here. Who help me? Suffix. We just have to make 10 plus 20 plus 30, which is 60, 40. So that particular element, that particular I element, this will be 150, right? So this is called as PR1. M minus 1 is the last element. Hey, what element you ask? I minus I, you have to do that. So this particular index will be pointing to like that, right? So this is the first thing which you have to do. So my W will be equal to where we have to map first I element with the last I element. So they give me, okay, we just do the absolute difference. Either you can subtract with anyone, right? So we take PR1 M of I minus 1, right? This particular element I want, right? Okay, and with the this particular element, this, just suppose this is 100 and this is 150. We just need to map first I element with the last I element. We just do the suffix. Please give me the suffix of last that particular m minus I minus 1 element and PR of I. This the difference will give me like that. So that particular difference I just store in the W part. Okay. Now rest of the element we have to map. So just assume there we have n minus 1 element, right? Okay. In that case, I want sum of all the elements till here, right? I want sum of all the elements from here to here. How I can get? Just assume this is my PR, right? Prefix of A. So in this case, I simply get PR of all. For example, here we have 200, here we have 100, right? If I subtract like that, 200 minus 100, suppose 100 is here, right? Please do not think like that. So PR of I, whatever the PR of I, it's 100, right? So 200 minus 100, it means the sum of all the elements in between that will be 100, right? So this will give me that part, right? Okay. So we assume PR of n minus 1 minus I. Now it's time to make the difference with the another mapping array, right? So right now I want this particular ka sum, right? This particular ka sum. Who will give me? Who will give me? Suffix part, right? So here what I'm doing is, sorry, prefix part, not suffix part, prefix part. Because here we have something like that, something like that, right? So just assume like that. We have here, we just suppose it's 400, right? So in that case, I want that real element. How I can get that? How I can get that? So this is the simple value which we are written. So whatever we are written here, n minus I, right? Because this is n minus 1. So PR2, whatever you written here, right? Okay, I want all the sum of it. Okay, whatever we are written at the B of n minus 1 minus I, that what we have to do. What is B here? B is your actual array, which is represent m elements. If we take the sum of all the elements and the corresponding you minus, so you get all the elements, right? So this is my PR2 n minus I minus 1 and the corresponding value, which is actually, it's not prefix, it's actual value which is written in your array B, right? So we just take the W1 here, right? Okay. Now W take the difference of your first I element with the last part, and W1 considered n minus 1 with the n minus 1 the front part of your B, right? Like that. So take the sum of it, right? W plus W1, that's your another case, which is case 3, right? Whatever the value of I has, you have to take all the values. I equal to 0, give me W plus W1, whatever the value we have. Just suppose its answer will be answer 3, right? Okay. So from here, when we run the loop from I equal to 0, I equal to I less than n, we get the all the combination, and whatever the maximum is, we just store in answer 3. Right? Okay. At the last, what I'm doing is just return max of either answer 1, max of either answer 2 or answer 3, right? Like that. What we have to do, we just have to do like that. Okay, at the end we just return like that. So now I hope you understand the intuition. Let's see the code of it. Okay, now what we have to do is we just make the array 1, okay, A array and B array, right? Okay, so in this case I just copy all the elements of array 1 in A and array 2 in B, right? After that, what I'm doing is I just sort both the array, right? Okay, after that, this will give you the answer 1, this will give you the answer 2, right? In the single for loop, I just make sure all the elements here, right? Okay, now if you see here, what I'm doing is, as I said, my array will be the starting point. I just map with the last element, which is m minus 1 minus n minus, sorry, m minus 1 minus I, right? That's why we just do like that. This is my answer. What? Map with the last. Now we just map with the front part. Front part means whatever we have n size, take the n size of your B array and take from first n minus 1 minus I equal to 1, n minus I, like that, right? We just do that. So answer 1, answer 2 here. Now, as we know, we need 3 things, which is prefix of A, prefix of B, and suffix of B. These are the 3 things we need. So here I just make the prefix of A part, right? Here I just take the prefix of B, as well as I just take the prefix of, sorry, suffix of B, right? So here PR1 just tell you the prefix suffix part of B, PR2 will get to the prefix of B, right? And PR will give you the prefix of A, like that. 3 things we are making here, right? Okay. So now after that, as I tell you, we just run the for loop for I equal to 0 n and take all the combination. We have W plus W1. In that case, we just have to take the maximum. That particular will be stored in the max of answer variable. At the end, I just compare answer or answer one. After that, whatever we stored, ff or answer 2, right? At the end, I just return whatever the maximum out of that we have, right? So this is a simple addition. Just think about three cases, right? Like that, you are good to go with that, right? So what's the complexity of this? As you see in the whole the code, what I'm doing is I simply run one time. But please do not forget about the sort part. We are sorting as well, right? So in this case, what's my complexity is? So my time complexity is n log n, right? So hope you understand this solution intuition. So now let's move to our next question. So our next question is find minimum inversions. So let's read the question first. Our question is we are given the array of size n which contain distinct positive elements, right? So you want to find out the minimum number of swaps required to get maximum number of inversions. See, maximum number of inversions we have to calculate. For that, I want minimum swaps, right? So see in this case. So node point is given to us. You have two arrays, right? Array I and array j, just like that. We have one array. Just assume like that. We have two parts where I is pointing to some element and j is pointing to some element, right? In that case, inversion simply means like if array of I is greater than array of j, but in that case your j will be greater than I, right? Okay, just assume like that your left element is greater then right element, but in that case left is greater than right element. Okay, but right element is j, right? That particular j is greater than I. That's it, what we have to do. So let's understand with the help of first example. Okay, so we have first example. If you see in this case we have first example. Okay, now in this case if you see the explanation part, if you understand the explanation, the question is very easy, right? So here the question said we have to swap 2 with 3, so that resulting will be 2 11 3 5. Okay, 2 with 3, it means what they do is, let me write here, 2 with 3. So here we have 2 now, here we have 3 now, right? Okay, that's first inversions. Okay, first swap. After that what I'm doing is then swap, we can swap 2 with 5. Okay, so 2 with 5. Okay, just assume this thing, what's happening, this is second swap, right? 2 with 5, 5 here, 2 here. Okay, after that what they do, finally we have to swap 5 with 11. Okay, 5 with 11. If I swap this, right, 5 here, 11 here, right? Okay, if you see, what is this, what is this? This is decreasing order. Decreasing order, I want my array will be in decreasing order. In that particular case I have maximum inversions, right? Maximum inversion. What is inversion? I want array of I is greater than array of j, right? So for example, I will be this, j will be this. So is this correct? Yes, j is greater now. J is in the right side, and array I is greater. That's the two conditions which you have to keep in mind, right? Like this. This is the case when I want my array will be in the sorted order, but in the reversal part, right? That's what I want. Okay. So when I see this first test case, I assume one question in my mind. We have given an array, right? And I just want minimum swap, so that particular array will be in the corrected format, in the sorted format. So just remind that question. We have array and I just want that particular array will be in the sorted order. I have to do swap. Now tell me how many minimum swap I want. So here what's the question? Question is we have the array. I want minimum swaps so that my array will be reversely sorted, right? Only in the reversal sorted we have maximum inversions. These are the two properties of maximum inversions, right? Like that. Now let's see how we can solve this problem. Okay, so this problem is now converted to your minimum swaps, and so that my array will be sorted in reverse order, right? So I just do the same idea how we can solve the problem of in the increasing order, right? We just have to change a bit. Now see, this is my array. What I want is I simply make a vector of pair, right? In that case what I'm adding is I simply add the position right now where it is present, right? So where it is present, 3 is present at 0 index. Okay, 11 is present at first index, and 2 is present at 2 index. Here 5 is present at 3 index. That's what I want. So in this particular vector, what I am adding is where that particular conditions, where that particular element is present right now. What I want, let's sort that now. in the reversal order. After reversal order, with the help of their element, on the basis of first element in the vector, we just have to sort. So it will look like this, right? Okay. So it will be look, if I do the swap, if I do the reversal of it, right? If I do the sort of this part, right? So this is your vector part. Okay. Now this is your vector part after reversal. Now think about it, right? Now I want this is this I want, right? I want this. What is actual? Actual is this, right? Actual is this. I want this particular element will be converted to this. Now this is the, here we just have to calculate the minimum swaps, right? Now see very carefully what I'm doing is, now here we have three index. I want here 3, right? Because actually 3 now. I just want to make the, which I want. I just convert what I want to make that particular actual part. To make what I want to the actual part, how many how many swaps I need, that is your answer. That is the answer. That is the number of swaps which I want. This is the minimum number of swap, right? So let's conclude again. What I'm doing here is, I simply make a vector where it is present. That is the actual part, right? Now what I want in the decreasing order. I simply do using swap, using sort part, right? In the reversal part. Now I want this 11 5 3 2 will be there, but this is actual. This is my which I want. So now I simply make want to actual, right? What I want to actual. How many minimum steps I want? So that is the number of minimum swap you need, right? Now let's do the dry run of this case. So until this, I think it's clear now, right? Okay. Now what I'm doing is, my I will be this. So I just write I will be 3, which is n minus 1, right? Okay. Now I'm asking what is this part? This is, they said 2, right? Where you are right now? They said 2. I want 3 here, right? Only in that case we can make 3 3 na 2 2 1 1 0 0, right? So here I just make a count which is equal to 0 right now, right? And what I'm doing is, I'm asking, this is 3, this is 2, but I want here 3. What I'm doing is, I simply swap these two values, right? Okay, so my I will be 3, and what is the index here? Index will be, let me write, index will be 2, right? So let me write the name index, which is v of I dot second, right? Okay, this is 2. Now what I'm doing is, I simply make a swap of it, right? V of I with V of index, right? V of 3 with V of 2, right? So I just make here 2 2, here I just make 3 0, right? The count will be increment to 1, right? Okay, again I'm asking, okay, so let's remove this part and update into this. So 2 2 will be here and 3 0 will be there, right? Okay, now I'm asking, what is I? They said 3. What is index? They said 0. Again, it's not at correct place, right? So what I'm doing is, I simply do, hey, V of I, just do the swap with V of index, right? Okay, now in that case, V of I, which is that is V of I means this part, right? 3 0, right? We just have to swap with V of index, which is 0, right? Which is this. We just have to do the swap. After swapping, it will look like this. Okay, now let's do the updation part, right? 3 0 will be here and 11 1 will be here. It means again you do the swap, right? Okay, again if you see in this case 3 1, it's not match again, right? So what is my I will be 3. What is my index in this case? It's 1, right? Again do the swap. What we have to do the swap? 3 with 1, right? What is 3 here? 3 will be this and 1 will be this. So here we have 11 1, here we have 5 3, right? So let's update here. Okay, so here we have 11 1, here we have 5 3. Now let's count my this part, right? Okay, again I am checking, hey, I, are you equal to this? They said yes. So it's time to decrement now. It's time to move here. Now my I will be here. I'm asking, hey I, are you equal to the V of I dot second? They said yes, I am equal. So decrement my I, right? So that I can reach here. If you see, I will be equal to this. Yes, it is. I will be equal to this. Yes, it is. So in that case, what's my count? Count is 3. That's my answer. That's it, right? So let's see the code of it now. So in the code of it, what I'm doing is, I simply make a pair of vector where I'm adding first element and the corresponding index of it, right? Okay, so this is the actual part, right? Now what I'm doing is, I sort that particular vector in the reversal order, right? Okay, so this is what I want, right? What I want and what is the actual. Now it's time to convert what I want, right, to make my actual array, right? So what I'm doing is count will be 0 and I will be at pointing the last, right? So I just make a while until I greater than equal to 0. You just have to do that because I just want to traverse from end to the first part, right? So in this case, I am asking, hey I, are you not equal to v of I dot second? They said no, I am not equal. In that case, it means there is a mismatch, right? Please swap with array of v of I with v of I dot second, whatever the index we have, right? Okay, v of I dot second is index, what I do in the try-run part. After doing swap, we just have to do the count plus plus, right? Now see, in this case, I don't know whatever the swap I make, that is the actual answer on, right? That's why we are not doing the I minus one in that case. We again go to the while loop and check this condition until it's not false. We just have to check and check again and again, which you see in the dry run as well. Right now we are at the I equal to 3, right? When I equal to 3, I is equal to v of I dot second. In that case, we go to the else case. What I'm doing is I minus minus, right? And when we reach I equal to minus 1, we just have to stop. Whatever the count is stored, just return that count. That's it, right? So hope you understand this. Now let's talk about complexity. So complexity is simple. In this case, we just do the for loop, and in this case, we just do the sorting part, right? N element n log n, right? It will be order of n. So in this case, it's order of n, right? So what is my complexity? Order of n log n, right? So let's try to submit and see it's working fine or not. Yeah, it's working fine, right? Okay, so complexity will be, my complexity of this solution will be n log n. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now let's move to our next question. The next question is interesting string puzzle. Okay, so let's first read the question. Our question is, imagine a row of words all made up of lowercase English alphabet. The first word INIT of length n is given to you, right? So you have to make each new word of the row by deleting one character from the previous word, right? Previous word. Okay, make sure the new word is lexicographic minimal, right? Minimum string that will be. Okay, so in that case, you just have to join all these words together to make one big word, right? After that, you just have to find out that particular character where my index will be pointing, right? So in this case, my index will be given to me as a one base indexing. You just have to convert into zero base, and please let me know like whatever the word, whatever the character at that particular index we have, right? So let's understand the question better, right? So we are given a string. Please remove this. Okay, so we are given the string. That particular string will be, suppose this is CAB, right? Okay, in that case, my index will be given to me as 6, right? Okay, so this will be 1 base. We just have to convert into 0 base. So let's make here 5. Okay, now in that case, my string will be this, right? My string will be this. Okay, my string will be this. Okay, so here if I do the 0 base indexing, can we find the index 5? Just tell me. We cannot, because your string is small. So what I want to tell you is, here let's first make my current length, whatever the length of my string is, 3, right? Okay, now I'm asking, hey, can you please find that particular string character at that particular index? They said no, I cannot do that, right? Okay, so here I just write the variable name, that is okay. So okay means, can you able to find that particular index? They said no. So let's write here false. Okay. Now it means we just have to concatenate it, right? Okay. So see, in this case, we have CAB, right? We have to delete one character, either of it is, right? So it means my current string will be CAB. If I delete any character, right? So we have possibility, either I delete C, right? Either I delete A, okay. Either I delete, for example, B. So my possible strings will be this, which is smallest. AB is smallest, right? It means we have to delete my C, first element, right? First character. So I delete this, right? After deleting this, we have AB, right? Okay, so this is my previous string, right? After deleting one character, let's concatenate and make the big string, right? Now, what is my characters? What is my string? String will be this. Okay, now again, I'm asking, can we find the length which is equal to 5? They said no, right? The character which is present at index 5, we are not able to do that, right? Again, what is my okay? Okay said I am not able to do that. It's remain same, right? Okay. After that, what we have to do is, see, after deleting, we have this number of strings left. This is the string which is left to you. Now, this is your biggest string, right? After concatenate. Okay. In that case, let me write here BA. Okay. This is the string which is left part. Now we have again two things, either I delete A or B, right? So what I delete B, right? Because if I make the combination, if I delete B, A will be there. If I delete B, A, B will be there. Which is smallest? A is smallest, right? So let's delete the B part, right? We left with A. After that, my concatenate string will be make like this. Okay, let's add A into it. Okay, in this case, let's find the index part. So can we find the fifth index? Yes. So in this case, what's my answer? Your OK will be true, right? And OK said, yeah, now we are finding that particular character. So my output will be that particular character, which is A, right? Hope you understand it. But in this case, we all understand like that, we just have to concatenate it. But if you see the constraint part, so constraint part said it's 10 raised to power 6, right? Okay, it means it's very large. So if we have, just assume like that, if we have my length 10 raised to power 6, this is the length of character. If I do concatenate, that particular will be very much big. Now I am finding that particular length ka character, right? It's very out of bound part, right? Because we just do like that, 10 raised to power 6, right? And 10 raised to power 6 minus 1, right? And do something like that, right? So it's very big, right? We cannot do that. So this is a problem of this question, right? That's why it's hard, but it's very easy. So instead of finding like a concatenated, right, and finding the index, that particular index we can find the character or not. Instead of this, we just have to decrement my your index part, right? Let's see how we can do that. Okay, now in this case, I just draw a line and tell you the both scenarios. If I do the concatenate, how it's look like, and if we delete the index, how it look like, right? Okay, in the right left part, I just do the adding part, right? Here I do the negative part, means we delete the string part. Okay, now let's see how it's look like. Now what's my current length? Current length will be 3. Here also we have current length 3, right? Okay, okay. So in that case, I am asking what is my index? Index will be 5, right? After doing the zero based indexing, right? Both have 5. Okay, that's okay. Now first cheese, first thing, I am asking, can I find the length of it? They said no. So what we do previously, right? What I'm doing is string will be this CAB, right? And I just do, after deleting the C, I just do concatenate and it will look like this, right? Just remind the previous one, right? Okay. In that case, we do this thing, right? Okay. Now my OK will remain same, which is false, right? Because it's not 5. In that case, what I tell you is, your string is this now, right? So after concatenate it, how many characters your string will make? If you see here, my length will be 5, right? So if I delete CAB like this, if I delete CAB, right? Just assume like that. If I delete C from it, what's my case? Can we make this part? No, we cannot do that part. We left with AB, right? It means you are decrement 3 characters. If I decrement the C part, right? Okay, in that case, we can say that what's your length now? If I decrement my 3 characters, if I delete the characters 3 from this case, right? If I delete C, it means we cannot make CAB, right? Okay, in that case, AB is left with you, right? Okay, in that case, my current length will be, okay, sorry, my index will be whatever the index we have minus what is the current length of it. They said 3, this will be 2, right? Okay, what's my current length now of my string? That will be 2, right? Okay, 1 and 2, right? Okay, previously it's 3. Okay, now in that case, so if you see in this case, I'm asking ki your index will be 5, right? And number of characters are 5. Can we find the that particular character? No, we cannot do that. Again, your OK will be false in this case, right? And what you do, in this case, just remind the previous one. Your after removing your string will be AB, right? Okay, this is the your concatenate string. But after removing the character C, you left with AB, right? Again, what you do, take the combination and find the minimal part. So what we add? A we have to add, right? Okay, in that case, my index will be 5 and we can find the index 5 here, right? Okay, now see in this case how it's working fine. Okay, now okay, in that case again I'm asking, can we find the index 2? They said no, because you have 0 1, right? We cannot have 2 index. So in that case, what I'm doing is I again have two combinations. either A or B we have to delete. What I'm deleting, right? So just for example, we have AB, right? Okay, so this is my, for example, AB, right? After deleting B, we have to concatenate A, right? Okay, we have three characters now. Okay, but what I'm doing is I don't want to include B, right? If I delete B, right, what's the difference between these two values? 2, right? Whatever the string length we have. So what I tell you is, if I make AB here and I delete B, right, what is your index? What's the difference between the index? Index will be whatever the index you have minus whatever the length you have, because we are not able to make AB, right? That's the difference between these two things. If you concatenate it, right, and if you are removing it, what's the difference? 2, right? What is 2? 2 is the initial number of characters in your string, right? So in this case, I simply delete 2 and index will be 0. Okay, now your string will be A, right? And here I'm asking, I want to ask whatever the character present at index 0. Can we find it? Yes, we can find it, right? Okay, so in that case, we can simply return the output, which is A, right? So in this case, I'm asking, can we find the index 5? Yes, we can. In this case, that is my output, right? So if you see in this case, the similar things we are doing in this case. Here we are concatenated string, right, and finding and reach to that particular index. Here what I'm doing is I simply decrement my characters, and when we decrement the character, I just decrement the index as well. Only in that case we can reach to my that particular index, and my question will be good to go with that part, right? So hope you understand the intuition behind it. Okay, now let's solve it, right? What we have to do is, okay, so what I'm doing is I simply make a vector part where we just have to add the characters, right? Okay, now my, if you see here, what's my string will be CAB, right? Okay, now in that case, what I'm doing is my index will be 5, right? Okay, after decrement minus minus, because I just want to convert into 0 base, right? Okay, after that, right, what I'm asking is, hey, can you please tell me the current length of this? They said 3, right? Now in this case, how we can check key that particular string will be finished? So in that case, there is a possibility we just have to delete the last character as well, right? So who helped me to delete that part, right? Just think about it. If I want to delete the last character, who will help me? Because after last character, we don't have any character afterwards, right? So in that case, what I'm doing is I simply make a addition here, but your current length will be 3, right? We just have to make like that. Current length will be the actual length. Here I add the dollar sign, right? And a sky value of dollar will be 36, right? Which is very less as compared to other characters, right? Which is ABC, like that. Okay, so this will help me to do that part. Okay, now see. So first of all, I'm asking, hey index. So as I said you before, we just have to make a variable in my code. Here I just do that part, right? Which is your OK part. Can we find that particular index or not, right? Okay, so in that case, OK will be false. Initially it's false. It means we are not able to find that part, right? Okay, now tell me, this is uh, your vector, right? Here I just make a vector of string. Okay, now my this will be this. Now here I'm asking how I can we find it or not? What is the length of the string? It's 3, right? Which is actual, right? So I am asking here, hey 3, are you greater than or equal to my index? They said no, I am not, right? In that case it's false, so that's why I just make my OK will be false initially, right? On the basis of that, right? There may be a possibility you have enough string ka length and index will be less. So in that case, you can easily find the character, right? Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm asking what is the your vector part. Is there anything is in the string or not in this particular character or vector, right? We don't have anything. So what I'm doing is I simply let's make a character of this particular string, which is this, right? So here I am pointing to this. Let's add into it, right? So after adding it, right? So I just pointing to my A so that we can compare now how I can compare with single length, right? So I just add into my vector of character, right? After that, I just point to I equal to 1, right? Now I am asking first, is your OK equal to false? They said no, it's false. It's not true, right? True means we can find the index. Now we cannot do that. Okay. After that, I'm asking, hey, A is greater. they said A smaller, right? My current character will be smaller than initial part. It means that we can delete that particular C. So I am deleting that particular C, right? So in that case, after deleting the C, right, it means that just remind the previous. What we do in this case is I simply make my index will be whatever the index we have. If I delete the C part, it means my index will reduce to index equal to index minus current length, which is 3. So it will make 2, right? Okay, we have 2 length. Now I'm asking again, what's your current length now? After deleting your C part, we have AB, right? So current length will be 2, right? Okay. Now I'm asking, hey, can you please tell me like my OK is now OK or not, right? OK means can we find the length or not? They said, let me check. Your string will be AB, which is actual, right? And you want to index pointing to 2, but we don't have, right? OK remain false in this case, right? Okay, that's it. Okay, not an issue. Now I just go to the next uh, part, which is B. Now before going to the B, we just have to add A now. Do not forget that we just have to add it, right? Now I am pointing to B. In that case, what I am asking is, hey, your OK is false. They said yes. In that case, you have to do something task, right? But when my OK is true, in that case, we just have to return that part, right? Okay. Now I'm asking, hey, current character is greater than my, or is this character A? Oh, sorry, it's B. Is this smaller? They said yes, right? My A character is smaller, B is bigger. So I don't want to decrement my A, right? I don't want to delete my A because I want the lexical smallest. So what I'm doing in this case, I don't go into the while loop, right? Simple. I just show you the code afterwards. So we just add a B into it, right? Okay. Okay. Simple. We just have to add B, right? Okay. Now let's see for this case. Now, after that, see, we have to delete B now. Just remind the previous one. Just remind the driver part. So we just have to delete B to reach my index part, right? So in that case, dollar will help me to delete that part, right? So now we are pointing to dollar and dollar is smaller. It means B is greater, right? Whatever the back element of your this particular vector is, right? It's B. B is greater than dollar. They said yes, right? Now let's remove that part, right? After removing that part, it means what my index will be same 2 minus 2, right? Whatever the length your character is, current length, which is 0, 2 minus 2, which is 0, right? Okay. Now my length will be index will be 0. What is my current length? Current length will be A, right? Which makes my string actual will be A like this, right? Okay. After that, I'm asking, hey, can you please tell me like, can I find now my index or not? They said, okay, let me check. What's your index? They said 0. Okay. Now, can you please tell me like, what is the length of your string? They said, okay, it's also 0, right? So in that case, we can find it, right? In that case, what's my okay will be turns to true, right? Okay, it turns to true, and true means we cannot do traversal, right? It means we can find it, and also in that case my string is also finished, right? We come out of the loop. And what is my index? They said 0. Just return your string of index, right? What is that? String of 0, which is A. That's what my answer is, which is A. Sorry, where is A? A is here, right? Sorry. So A is this, right? So in this case, we can easily do that part, right? Okay, now let's see the code of it. Similar code we have to see here, right? So the first thing is, what I done is I just make my index minus minus so that it converted into be 0 base, right? Now, first of all, I just count my current length of string, right? So current length will be this. Now I just make a vector of stack, right? It will look like stack, right? So because we just have to pop from the last, right? Okay, so it's the vector of characters, right? Okay, now just remind the boolean part. Okay will be, can my index is less than my current length? It means, can I find that part? They said no in that case, in the CAB example. So in this case, your okay will be false, right? And after that, I just add my dollar so that we can reach to the last part as well, right? Okay, now in this case for loop, what I'm doing is I simply traverse it, and here while loop will, the first part we just have to check, can I find it that particular index in my string or not? Okay will tell you. Okay is false. In that case, you have to go it, right? Okay. After that, now I just want to compare the string, right? I just want to delete the character. But if your vector is empty, how I can compare, right? So here I simply ask, hey, can you please tell me like st dot size is greater than 0? Initially it's not, right? So we don't go and simply add whatever the value of ch you have, right? After that, when I go back and I'm asking if both the condition is true, right? What I'm doing is I simply check st dot back if the current element is smaller than which is actually present in the back of your vector or stack. They said yes. So in this case, go into it and whatever the length of your string is, just decrement the index equal to index minus current length, right? After decremented, your current length is also decrement, and whatever the element present in the your vector, just pop that as well, right? After that, you have to check, is my current length is greater than index? If it is, you just have to make sure your okay will be true, which pass the part, yeah, now you can do it, right? But this is the flow of it, right? And after that, we just have to add that particular character as well, right, which is at the end of it. And when you do that particular part at the end, right, you have the particular index, you have the string, just point to that particular string and you are good to go with that, right? So yeah, this is the flow of this, right? So hope you understand the solution and intuition. Now let's submit and check it's working fine or not. Okay, yeah, it's working fine, right? Okay, so in this case, let's assume that complexity of the solution. We have the characters, right? And when we go into the value, what I'm doing is either I decrement the character, right? One by one, one by one, one by one. So in this case, we can say that my complexity will be order of n, right? And what is my space complexity? We use the vector part, right? And yeah, we have only that particular vector. So it may be your order of n, where n is the length of the string, right? Okay, so hope you understand the solution intuition. Thank you so much.